Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Write this down. Write it down. You like writing things down.
To write that down Wednesday here on Purple Daily, the only show in America that has the stones enough to put statistics next to our predictions. We do it football version on Purple Daily every Wednesday, and then the Anything Goes edition on the OG edition, as we call it, on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd and the Score North YouTube channel every single week. Declan's victory mustache lives another week into Vikings-Texans. The sports dad has been camped out. You're going back to practice today, right, for Wednesday press conferences?
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Got the hair all spiffed up?
Oh, yeah, you know it, man. 1 o'clock O'Connell press conference, 2 o'clock can watch practice to see who participates and who does not. And so, yeah, there's there will be some answers provided, because you know what? Sunday was fun, but it's over. It's over. We're on to the Texans championship week.
You enjoy it for a day,
It's
maybe
over.
two, and then you're on to the next.
Exactly right. So,
you got to go 1-0 in Texans week.
Exactly right. You know what this team is right now? 0-0.
It's Texans championship week. You must win the Texans championship game.
And last time I looked, that's a tough club.
It is a tough club. It's a tough ball club. Yeah. So maybe on your way, before we get to accountability and predictions and the quarterback cesspool challenge, maybe on your way to practice, you can stop at a Quick Trip. Huh?
Oh, God, that's a great idea. Because guess what? I can fuel up my car and I can fuel up the sports dad himself. Look at all of those delicious options. Folks, we're not just talking, quick grab stuff. We're talking actually breakfast, lunch, or dinner. The Karuba coffee, I'm gonna tell you right now, Sports Dad loves that too. I mean, Quick Trip, what don't they have? You're looking at the pizzas right there, and if you don't want to go inside, so you're saying, well, Sports Dad, that's great, but I don't want to go inside. I'm sort of like you. I don't like people. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, just get that Quick Trip app on your phone, order all of your groceries, and while you're pumping your gas, they'll bring it out to you. This is how easy can they make it? Quick Trip, and of course, the reminder, if you are on a trip or if you go to a Quick Trip, we always love to see your stop at Quick Trip. At Jay Zolgad on Twitter, at Score North on Twitter. We love to see that you're supporting those that support us.
So basically, to sum that up, if you're antisocial, Quick Trip is still a friendly place for you to go.
Well, people think, grocery store, I can do that there, right? I can get the app on that. But I'm telling you, no, it's easier than that. You can't get gas at the grocery store.
All right, here's how this works if you're new. Maybe because it feels like even Ventline, we had a couple people come on that had just discovered the show in the last week or two. Welcome to the Purple Daily family here. And every Wednesday we make predictions and hold each other accountable. So it's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable in some way. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. A touchdown is a prediction that is above and beyond, like it's maybe there's like a 25% or less chance for it to hit somewhere in that ballpark. And then listeners, if you want to be like Dan and participate as a guest predictor, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app and we will get you scheduled. So let's start with Judd on the accountability.
Hey.
A couple things came off the board.
One should have been right.
You said Adam Thielen will not be on the Panthers for the 2024 season. I think if you could ask Adam Thielen, would you like to be on the Panthers for the rest of the 2024 season? He'd tell you no. Although his guy, Andy Dalton, he finally got his wish. Andy Dalton is now here to save the franchise.
Is this any way to end your career, though?
No, I
don't
want to see him go out like this. This is not it.
Yeah, he needs to go out on a team. Like, just get him to a team that's got a chance, right?
Yeah, I mean, same. I don't know who we were talking about yesterday. You only get a few chances to make life-changing money, and he obviously got a huge bag from Carolina. But at that point, like, he's accomplished a lot. Everyone's going to remember him as a Viking. Like, go to the Chiefs, go to the Bengals, go to a contender where you can sign a 1-year deal and be still the second and maybe even the first guy. Like, the Chiefs had no receivers last year. 0.
And Hollywood Brown's out for the year.
Yeah.
So, like...
Trade deadline, boys. Trade deadline.
He'd be a great little asset, number 3 receiver for somebody red zone. Mm-hmm. You did say that Justin Jefferson would have at least 1 reception of 35 yards or more against the 49ers, which was a touchdown. And then he goes 97 to create no doubt here. I looked it up. He only had like 3 35-plus yard catches last year. He missed half the season, but
Right.
Nice job there, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I had one thing come off the board. It was correct. I said the Vikings would win at least one of their next 2 games against the 49ers and or the Texans. Thank you very much. Listeners, kind of a rough week here. Our guy Derek, who made the in-show predictions, got a little frisky. We don't usually allow email submissions, and he was feeling himself after the hot stretch there, and he said, "Can I sneak one more in? I think the Vikings lose by 9 or more to the 49ers and then beat the Texans by 7 or more points." Derek should have stopped while he was ahead. Jared came in and said the starting running back for the 49ers will be held to 90 yards or less.
Mason's great.
100 for Mason.
He runs hard. Like, I would be terrified. Well, I'd be terrified to tackle any single person, let alone an NFL football player.
Yeah.
That guy runs like he's going to kill you.
Yeah, he does,
don't
man.
Stop.
And he's just kind of been lurking as a backup there for 3 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Guy can play. And then Jared also said Dallas Turner would have a sack or a TFL against the Niners. He had a couple tackles, but no sacks, no TFLs. Declan, you said Aaron Jones would have at least 20 touches against the 49ers. But the Vikings will cover the 6.5, and they did with ease. And so with that, Declan, a healthy lead here. The season runs Super Bowl to Super Bowl, so we're trucking along here. Plenty of time left, but Declan, 43.5% completions. Judd, 35.5%. I'm at 31.5%, just ahead of the listeners, 31.3%. Declan and listeners tied with 7 touchdowns apiece. Judd with 6. I need to pick up my touchdown game. I only have 2 touchdowns on the season. Then all-time stats, Declan leads 37% completions. Judd, 35%. I'm at 33%. Listeners just above 23%. Declan and I are tied with 48 touchdowns in our career. Listeners lurking with 46. Judd with 39 career touchdowns. Stats going back to 2021. So, all right, we're going to go across the Atlantic Ocean where Vikings fan and Purple Daily listener Dan jumps in. What's going on, Dan?
Afternoon, morning. Thanks for having me on.
So give us your background. How did you become a Vikings fan? When did you start watching this team?
2004. And originally it was just back when you're still a teenager, renting video games. A friend rented Madden 04, the one, basically the Michael Vick edition. And basically just started playing as the Vikings on that one. Doing a lot of one-note Culpepper to Moss, playing the same long, deep play over and over again. But so got into them from playing that, and then 1 year later, Culpepper and Moss both gone.
Wow, that was a fun era to play the Vikings in video games because it was just like anything from like the late '90s, early 2000s, and you're just throwing it to Randy Moss and scoring 30 points on Madden or whatever. So you kind of got hooked on the video game. What did you have any other, like, were the Vikings, did you have like an open market? Because sometimes I wonder how American fans pick EPL teams. And like our buddy Chris Long from Channel 5 here just decided one day, I'm going to be a Tottenham fan. Yeah. So like the video game aspect is a new twist to it. Was there any other hook besides video games for you?
That's just happens to be the way that I started watching. And then from the game, started just watching highlights on the NFL site. But we've got a group of friends, so we have got enough to make a fantasy league up of people who are interested in the NFL in our kind of area. But you then find that everyone kind of picks a different team. So you have friends who live in the same town as you, but you're all supporting completely different people. Yeah. So we've got like a Saints fan in there, a Giants fan, a Packers fan.
Wow.
So you get a bit of
a Packers fan. You can't like that guy. He's out.
Loser. Probably smells funny. Yeah. Yeah. Joe, what EPL team did you pick that one time? Was it like Blackburn? Or
no, Burnley.
Burnley FC.
Yeah, because
didn't they get relegated like the year that you?
Oh, they've been very up and down. They're not an established club. No.
Are they back in the top league EPL now, or where are they?
The last time I looked, yes. I don't know if that's the case this year.
No, they're down again.
They're down again. Yeah,
they're down again. Do you still have your Burnley scarf? Oh, JJ Watt owns
Burnley, doesn't he now as well?
Oh, does he really?
Dude.
Everyone's
those
buying
guys
up
are all
teams.
like everyone from the States here just comes and buys teams there now, or buys into teams. It's very American pretentious, but
Yeah.
it's how we roll. So
Right, it's
I
Ryan
apologize.
Reynolds and all these
I'm
celebrities.
going to buy one of
go
those
teams.
soccer teams and really go over there and go to a bunch of games. So
Dude, I mean, the Timberwolves third guy, so Sachin Guptan, who was like the third guy in line in the Wolves front office, 18 years in NBA front offices, just bolted the Timberwolves yesterday to go not run, but like, I don't know what his job is, but help run Chelsea, right? He's just gonna move his life, his family, and just go to soccer now, I guess. Anyways, let's throw it to Dan.
Write this down.
You're first out of the gate. Dan, Judd, Dex, and then we'll each go around and make a prediction 3 laps around the room here. So Dan, here we go.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Okay, as most listeners do, I'm going to go for all touchdowns, hopefully.
Yeah.
The first one, I would have made this before the season started, so I'm hoping 2 weeks in you'll still allow it, or if I'll have to tweak it. So I'm definitely a Jalen Naylor stan. Been waiting, well, every year being like, it's going to happen this year. And then obviously year 3 now, it's not quite. So his previous 2 seasons, I looked it up, he had 12 catches, 208 yards, 1 touchdown combined. So write this down. Naylor will have at least 30 receptions, at least 500 yards, and at least 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely will allow it. I think the question is that after watching him for 2 weeks, a touchdown? I think before the season, for sure a touchdown. I still think, like, for a third receiver, really a fourth receiver, once Hawkinson comes back and Addison's not going to be out that long, to get to 500 yards, I think if he hits all 3 of those benchmarks, I think we give Dan a touchdown.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh yeah, that's 3. Yeah, no question.
I mean, he has
And
2 touchdowns in 2. He's on pace for 17 touchdowns technically.
Yeah. Nope.
But the receptions and the receiving yards are right on par with that. And yeah, I think and once Hawkinson comes back, the targets probably get clogged up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Addison
Addison
too. So yeah, I think it's fair. It's totally
Okay. Yes, we'll allow it
Write this down.
for a touchdown. Okay, Judd, over to you.
All right, Texans in town on Sunday. It is, it's the Danielle Hunter revenge game. It's the Jonathan Grenard revenge game. So write this down. Jonathan Grenard will have 2 or more sacks on Sunday.
Wow.
He'll be credited with 2 or more sacks. He's got one. It was sort of a cheapie, but his underlying stats, I guess, the ones that don't jump out, are really impressive. Like, he's been really, really good. I think he's going to get home 2 or more times on Sunday.
Wow. Is it a Blake Cashman revenge game too?
It is too. Yeah. Yep. Although they wanted him back, I don't think they wanted Grenard back that bad.
No.
Yeah. So
No,
Blake
they
was.
disrespected Grenard.
Well, and how about the B-Flow comments in his presser yesterday that it was Mike Sherrills, the former Gopher linebacker and coach, that told B-Flow, because their young daughters are friends, you should look at Blake Cashman. He's like, I didn't know much about him, so I put on a tape. I'm like, yeah, this guy's really
and this
good.
is like last fall that this conversation happened.
So thank you, Mike Sherrills.
And B-Flow's like, I guess I've kind of heard of him, but when you're coaching in the league, and if a team isn't on your schedule, you might not know the intricacies of their linebacker situation. And Cashman wasn't. He was more of a special teams player early in his career, but yeah, that's Mike Sherrills gets the full assist on
Write this down.
Blake Cashman to the Vikings. Okay, Dex.
All right, I'm gonna say the Vikings running game continues to churn out good results. So right now the Vikings are averaging 128 yards on the ground per game, but the Texans are very stingy against the run. They've been very good against the run this year. I believe under 70 yards per game. So they've done a good job at stopping the run in a 2-game sample size, but still. So write this down. The Vikings will rush for at least 125 yards on Sunday. I think the running game remains consistent, and I think they'll continue to have success. So they'll rush for at least 125 yards against the Texans.
All right.
Write this down.
You know, much like Dan, I am standing for Jalen Naylor right now. He just looks the part. I definitely had some doubts. Judd was more high on Jalen Naylor these last 2 summers. I was clearly wrong. That's right. I was wrong.
I've been wrong before myself, as I have admitted on this show.
I know. Well, you were kind of wrong about Van Ginkel.
Yeah, but
I was kind of
what
wrong
was the
about
other one. I thought there was one too that I was really wrong on. It might have been. Oh no! Last year you called Asamoah and Madison.
Yeah.
And I was dead wrong on those two.
That's right.
And Phil was right.
Ball knower guy, right? Who's got two thumbs and nose ball.
And Phil was right. That's right. Phil was right, folks.
So write this down. Jalen Naylor will have more receiving yards than Stephon Diggs in this game.
Oh,
Jalen Naylor will outperform Stephon Diggs in receiving yards. Write it down.
Write this down.
And Diggs is wide receiver 3 there? Is that what I was
well,
gathering from
Nico
what I read?
Collins is definitely wide receiver 1. And then it's kind of, depending on the week, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs.
Has he been back here since?
Nope. This is first time back.
So
because they went to Buffalo 2 years ago, and that was the first meeting, right?
Yep. Yeah, because the Bills were here when Diggs was here in the game that the Vikings were, I think, 16.5-point favorites and lost. And then they don't come back like the cycles for those teams are really long. So, yeah. I think it's
so this
2
is
years and then 4 years.
Are we just quick side street here with both Danielle Hunter and Stephon Diggs? And I don't know how it would work, but if we get a chance as a fan base in that stadium, I think they both deserve huge ovations. Right? Sometimes we will boo former players, AJ Pierzynski, boo.
Hunter will get one. I think Hunter gets love. I think Diggs does not now. I think he caused so much that
But
was so acrimonious.
he literally has the most memorable catch in franchise history.
I know, but
if Ben is smart, what they'll do is they'll start with Daniil, and then they'll do Diggs, but they'll transition from the miracle play to Diggs, because I don't think you can really boo going from the video board of that catch, and then you show Stephon Diggs on the sidelines.
I'd
That's
show
what
him
you do. You're welcome,
exasperated as a Viking, bitching and moaning like he did.
Throwing his helmet, screaming at the coaches.
You guys can have Diggs, Hunter. I am just waiting for one welcome back, and that's going to come on December 8th. That's the
Does
only
he
one
get
I
booed
care
or
about.
cheered? Does Kirk get booed or cheered?
He gets cheered.
How do you cheer Kirk and boo Diggs, though?
Because Kirk wasn't an a-hole on
But Diggs wasn't an a-hole to the fans. Diggs wanted to win.
To the team. Right, yeah, but that's all they
Was
care
he?
about. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, he became a
Okay, Diggs was an a-hole because he hated the Mike Zimmer style of coaching and offense, which all of the fans wound up agreeing with by the end of it.
Right, but you don't make yourself as unlikable as possible on purpose, and he did that. But I think that's right.
I disagree, man. He deserves a standing ovation.
I'm done with him. I'm through.
Wow, dude,
he's
you are so quick to just cut off former Vikings.
Well, the stuff he did in Buffalo too, like he becomes despicable everywhere he plays. I was told that
Randy Moss. Then okay, let's boo Randy Moss.
Randy Moss was his second round here. He was a complete jackass.
The first round he's walking off the field in Washington.
I don't like him as a person, but I have a greater appreciation for his greatness than Diggs. That's the difference for me. Moss is up here. Diggs is really good, but he's still nowhere near Moss. I mean, Jefferson and Moss, let's talk about them in the same room. Diggs is not in that room.
I'm just saying, if the bar for booing or cheering someone is, they got cantankerous near the end of their career, well, Randy Moss was cantankerous twice as a Viking and forced his way out twice.
Sure.
Better player than Stephon Diggs.
Right.
All I'm saying is, Danielle Hunter, Stephon Diggs, and sure, Kirk Cousins, hey, those guys had good Vikings careers. But Stephon Diggs is going to be etched as the most famous play in Vikings history.
The last thing, though, you're asking the question of what we think or what I think the fans will do based on, and fans hold what Diggs did against guys like Diggs. Like if Cousins had gone out as a jerk, I think he gets booed too. Moss is so like I don't think Moss can be included because he's such a different player. Like he is one of the greatest receivers of all time. And he changed the game, and a fan base came aboard because of him. Like he was Manson-like in his following. He had a fiefdom.
We're referencing 70s serial cult leaders now. Okay.
He was Jim Jones.
Jesus.
People would follow Moss anywhere. Diggs didn't have that same cachet.
But Diggs, even though he got fined for skipping the practice, never missed a game. He played the rest of the year. He went to the playoffs a few times. They trade him in the offseason. They get Justin Jefferson. And he has said repeatedly, I will not go into detail about the bad times in Minnesota. I don't think he gets booed at all. I really don't.
I do. We'll see. Let's wait and see.
Curious to hear. I mean, comment section, tweet at us. Dan doesn't think you will.
Dan.
I think
I
Hunter
think-
gets a.
Dan gets it.
I think the
think Diggs
Jefferson
gets it.
trade makes everyone feel better about
Yes.
Diggs leaving.
Agreed.
I mean, the AJ Przynski trade should have made fans feel better
I
too.
was going
and-
to say, you guys aren't. I'm not saying I wouldn't boo him. I don't give a damn. I am saying let's look at this from the.
You're kind of saying
Minnesota-
he deserves to be booed. Is how I take it.
I'm saying he has the secret formula for how you get booed, even though you were loved.
And even though he was right.
I mean, we booed a lot of guys here who I've been shocked by.
Yeah. Okay. And they're kind of two parallel conversations. Will he and should he get booed?
Yeah, I don't really give a damn. He's gone. He's not my problem.
You
anymore.
definitely give.
I
a
don't
definitely
give a
do.
damn. No, but no, I'm telling you what I think the fans will do because I mean, Phil and I have talked about this going back to the radio show. It's amazing some of the people that get booed here, and you're like, why are you doing this? So I think the fans will turn on Stefan Diggs. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Dan for your second prediction.
Sorry, Dan.
It's okay. Okay. So jumping on kind of loosely on the back of that, we talked about Daniil there. So we lost Daniil, who was our best pass rusher, and I'd still say as an individual, he is probably better than any of the ones that we've replaced him with. But as the collective, the front's a lot stronger this year than last year. So write this down. This year, at least 5 defenders will have 5 or more sacks. And I checked back on the stats for this. We've only managed this once in the last decade.
I'm trying to think of what year that would have been. That's a fun trivia question.
5 or more defenders.
So 5 or more defenders with 5 or more. Was it like a Mike Zimmer era
Had to be
team?
Zimmer.
Yeah.
Like Kendricks probably had 5 one
17?
year. Barr,
You know,
Okay.
was it? Barr had like 5.5 his rookie year or something. Like 4. Was it 15?
later.
2019?
No,
18?
Well, now
No.
it's
it's hitting every year. 2021 it was.
2021.
Oh.
So right at the
Can't
end
remember
of
who the
Mike
5
Zimmer,
players were.
the last year of Mike Zimmer.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Judd. Second prediction.
All right. December 29th. The new year will be approaching. Excitement in the air. It's the penultimate week for the National Football League. And did you guys know that right now, Packers Vikings at the bank is scheduled for a noon kickoff?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Au contraire. That's not going to happen. That game will be flexed to a Sunday night game.
Oh,
That game will be flexed. And I actually, if you got a second, I looked it up to see because there are times where it's like the schedule is just too strong. But in this case, I think it is Miami Cleveland Sunday night game.
yeah, and that's Miami without. Well, I was gonna say without Tua,
But they might be. But like they very well could be.
in Cleveland at
And-
that point. Who knows?
Yeah, Cleveland, who knows? And I mean, I think that game was done with 2 things in mind for sure, right? Tua's playing, which we don't know now. Like we don't know. And more importantly, Deshaun Watson is Deshaun Watson again. And I think we're seeing, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to have a terrible year, but I think we're seeing a guy that's probably not going to get back to who he was.
Yeah.
Packers Vikings, which could be serious NFC North implications in Minneapolis.
It's time for some football.
And I got to be honest, that'd be a fun night.
I feel like we should every year we have at least one primetime Vikings Packers game, and
Most
to
part.
this point we got a couple nooners here, and some of that was like the schedule makers looking at the Vikings and saying,
Well,
Sam
Oh, yeah.
Darnold, but
Yeah, most definitely.
not anymore. Not after the first 2 weeks.
Write this down.
All right, old Decky.
all right. Speaking of Decky, my wife is actually going to this game on Sunday with the fam. She's going to go with her brother. Me and the Vince are going to stay back here on the home front.
Are they going
Watch
to
the
boo
Vikings.
Stephon Diggs?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah, tell
think
him to
so. They
boo him.
shouldn't. No, they shouldn't boo him. I'll
Boo! He was
I'll contact her.
he
and
was
tell
mad
her.
about the stagnant offense under Mike Zimmer. Boo!
No,
my
he was a
wife
jackass. Didn't have to be a jackass. Yeah.
gets in. Like we were at a high school football game. Granted, it was her high school last Friday,
got
and
into
was
it.
openly standing on her seat, booing the refs for like the 5th holding call in 7 plays. like she gets into football.
And what did
so
you do? Like just slink
just
down a little
sat
bit
there.
or say, hey,
I,
honey, you
I had no
slow
betting
down?
interest in Montemita versus Hastings. I was just there
No,
for
it's-
S and giggles.
It's more the person
Get off your knees,
that
ref!
you
Yeah.
love making a scene. That's what I was thinking.
gets-
It's not. It sounds a little bit like a curb.
Yeah. Well, I yelled trash can banger on our second date to George Springer. So it each person has their own game that they love to yell at. So
All right.
we'll see what happens. But my prediction, anywho, because I asked her, do you want to make a prediction? You're going to go to the game. And she said yes. So this is on behalf of her, but through me for my statistics, because that's what I like to do. The Vikings beat the Texans by exactly 3 points.
Whoa.
She wants the specific nature, and she
touchdown.
wants a touchdown. Yeah. So they beat the Texans by exactly 3 points.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Write this down.
Love it. Love it. Okay, write this down. The Vikings, if I'm specific here, you tell me if this is a touchdown, but the Vikings will be exactly 4-1 going into the Week 6 bye. So they're 2-0 right now. I'm saying they will go exactly 2-1.
That's touchdown.
Yeah, okay. So they could go 0-3, 1-2, 2-1, or 3-0. There's four possibilities. I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's like a boxed parlay or like a trifecta box or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Write this down.
Exactly 4-1. Okay, back across the ocean to Dan here for your third and final prediction.
Okay, I'm going to skip a couple of weeks ahead and make a prediction about the Jets game because I'm going to be going to that one. So I'm going to make it a 3-item parlay again. So the Vikings will win. Both quarterbacks will have at least one turnover. And both quarterbacks will be sacked 2 or more times.
I mean, that's going to be... Aaron Rodgers looks like Brett Favre from 2010 to me. Or like the first week or two of 2009 before he kind of shook the rust off. It just looks... Man, he looks old. I mean, look at him.
He is.
You're old.
He's old.
Man, what are those? Have you been to London games, I'm assuming, in your Vikings fandom?
Yeah, I've been to all the ones I've been over for so far. So it was Steelers at Wembley, Browns at Twickenham, and then the Saints was at Tottenham as well.
And are those like on TV? It looks fairly raucous, but it also looks like just a ton of random NFL fans wearing random jerseys.
Oh yeah, you'll
and
see
just kind of showing
all
up.
32 jerseys in there.
You'll just see like a Brady Quinn Browns jersey or something. Just I love the NFL, yeah. And then you got the Dans who are actual fans of a team that's over there.
Yeah, you'll see every single jersey. We played games where you turn up for the tailgate and you're thinking like, how quick can we count all 32? Obviously, you struggle more to spot like a Browns jersey.
Yeah,
but you can find every single one of them in there.
And like you say, a bunch of Jaguars, Blake Bortles jersey.
Yeah, I know a guy that bought one of them after his one good year.
Oh god.
The NFL has been trying to make the Jaguars to London a thing. So the more Blake Bortles and whoever propaganda.
No, they don't care about a London team. I think the NFL cares more about it than the UK fan base.
Yeah.
I think most people that care have a team they support now, and they won't. If they made the Jags a London team, everyone's not going to drop who they follow
and go Jags
and just
go follow. Yeah.
So you're saying you wouldn't drop your 20 years of Vikings fandom to become a Jaguars fan?
No.
Christian Kirk, let's go. Not going to happen. So Dan,
it's not a 3-4-hour drive as well, so I'm not committing to a season ticket for that.
Yeah. Well, great work with your predictions here. Since you've got this life-changing platform right now on Purple Daily, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that helped you get to this moment?
I'll give a shout out to the only other Vikings fan I know. So my friend Josh, and going back to what you said earlier on odd reasons why they might pick an American team, he got into the NFL kind of the latest of our fantasy league group. And the reason he started following the Vikings is just because he'd been watching How I Met Your Mother, where Marshall gets angry at all the times the Vikings let him down. And that was the reason that he just chose to join and follow me on it.
That's amazing. Awesome. How I Met Your Mother.
But he is the complete, like, you talk about like Kool-Aid Vikings fan of we're winning every week, every year, Super Bowl's possible.
17-0, 42-10. Love it, man. Well, hey, great work, Dan. Good luck with your predictions, and in a couple weeks, enjoy watching the Purple in London against the Jets, man.
Cheers, thank you. Thanks for having me.
There he is, guest listener, predictor, Dan. Hey, before we make our final trip around the room and then get to our quarterback cesspool challenge. I am on Prize Picks right now, and it does have a 47.5 receiving yards for Stefon Diggs. It does not have whether or not he's going to get booed. So I'm going to talk to the folks at Prize Picks, see if we can make something happen there. But yeah, you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You select between 2 and 6 players, and in fact, I'll just hold my phone up here. It's great. There, you just literally hop on, and you can see right there we got Jefferson, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and then Stefon Diggs. You select between 2 and 6 players, pick more or less on their projected stats, place your entry. Super easy. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PURPLEDAILY to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code PURPLEDAILY on the Prize Picks app to get $50 when you play 5 Prize Picks. Run your game. Judd is running his game at Livia. Just a fall football season tune-up for the sports dad right now.
That's right. And I actually went for my first week check-in on Tuesday, and guess what, boys? Dropped 9 pounds already. That's right. It's that.
I was gonna say, dude, I'm like, you look like the tune-up's working quickly.
I'm getting a little tune-up here. Exactly right. 9 pounds down. Stopped in at the brand new location in Tonka, which is great. Big space, lots of help. And look, here's the thing about them too. The food is great. It's a simple program. And I think most importantly, you're going to get support constantly. You're not going to get a guilt trip. You're not going to get things you don't want to hear. You are going to get support constantly. And that is going to help you if you would like to follow along with Sports Dad's Tune-Up, follow in his footsteps, and also drop those unwanted pounds. Join the nutrition plan today and get your first 8 weeks for free. That's right. Plus, medical offer weight loss medications for accelerated results. All you have to do is go to Livea.com, 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 855-GO LIVEA. Down 9 pounds, taking those unwanted pounds off. Why don't you do the same? And here is the final best part. You do not have to be a PD fan in the state to join. This whole thing can be done virtually. So if you're if you're a Purple Daily fan in Texas or California or something, 855-GO LIVEA, Livea.com. Folks, I'm here to tell you it works.
Amen. All right. Okay, final trip around the room here. We'll get to the quarterback cesspool challenge as well. Judd, your final prediction.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Brian Flores prediction. Brian Flores will get 1 or more head coaching interviews after the season, but will be the Vikings defensive coordinator again next season.
A little parlay, kind of.
A little parlay, okay. Yeah. And I'm saying, you know what? I don't think you can not talk to him this time if this continues. Like, at some point in time, it gets ridiculous. But the Tua slander certainly wasn't great. I think the lawsuit still being out there is the biggest thing. But like the league, it has to know we can't just not have this guy, right? Like we can't have teams. Well, I'm not going to talk to him. Ridiculous. But I also think he has found a perfect spot here. Like he and O'Connell, and I don't know what Brian's paycheck says, but I'm willing to bet it's very nice. Sometimes I think you gotta, especially at that point in your life, be like, I was a head coach. I might like to be one again someday. But I'm also basically the head coach of defense, and I'm in a great spot here. And he seems comfortable here. He seems happy here. So he will get an opportunity, Declan, 1 or more head coaching interviews, but will remain the Vikings DC for 2025, which, by the way, for Vikings fans and the Vikings would be great news.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's young enough to where I don't think in his head he's resigned to being just a lifelong defensive coordinator. He has pride, a football ego, and also showed some pretty good results with a Miami organization that was train wrecky at the time.
Yep.
And they went out. They were competitive for a couple years.
Write this down.
So I think he definitely wants to get another crack at it.
The one thing I will say is I also think, though, that the Dolphins situation gave him a really good idea of how to smell jobs you don't want, right? Like there's 32 jobs. It's not a lot, but do you really want to put yourself through that hell again? So like, I think it would have to be the right job.
When it's your first time, you almost, this is where like Lions coordinator, Ben Johnson, right? The offensive coordinator.
Right.
Really risky when you are the talked about offensive coordinator and you're saying, you know what, Washington doesn't quite do it for me. Okay, well, what if Jared Goff gets hurt and the offense sputters and you miss the playoffs or something, right? Now now you go back to the back of the line. So
Write this down.
okay, Dex, your third
All
and
right.
final prediction.
Write this down. I think this is quantifiable. Let me know if I need to add to it somehow. But Stephen A. Smith will praise the Vikings on First Take on the Monday after the Texans game. He will praise the Vikings. He has been radio silent on the. I saw Orlovsky calling him out. Where's Stephen A? Where's Stephen A? Wanting to give the Vikings their
Ripped Darnold
flowers for a
last
2-0 start.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a hybrid parlay in that they probably have to win for him to talk about them and praise them, or lose in some honorable fashion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he buried them after week 1, saying like it's Sam Darnold. Wait till they play an actual team, and then they did, and
Yeah. And if they win, and Darnold is not great, I think he ignores them. Because he's waiting for an opportunity. He's waiting for Darnold to struggle because he clearly has his mindset on this guy sucks.
which is like I don't know if that's what he's actually waiting for, but yeah, the easiest thing in the world is to wait for Sam Darnold to fall off and pound on the guy. I mean, I think the guy's been through quite a bit.
I think looking at the lens, I bet his order of operation is praising would be Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores, maybe even Flores first, then Kevin O'Connell second, and then Sam Darnold. Like,
yeah, I think
to Judd's point, he's going to need like months of success from Sammy
therapy
before he does that. I think he'll praise like Flores or KOC or what the Vikings have done against the Texans, but he's going to need a long time to look at Darnold.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in national media that just like didn't think they were going to have to talk about the Vikings this year, and
Write this down.
here we are. So, okay, write this down. I mean, this might be, it's not a touchdown, but I might argue that based on history, here's my prediction. The Vikings will not lose a fumble against the Texans. The Vikings will not lose a fumble against the Texans. They might fumble and then recover. I'm saying there will not be a lost fumble.
I think it's a touchdown if you said they won't fumble.
Yeah.
Because that's
But see, then you have like remember when Sam Darnold was running out of bounds and technically fumbled, but the ball like went out of bounds.
Right,
I don't want to get hit with something cheap like that.
That's why touchdowns
Because
are
their
tough.
issue has been losing fumbles.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's not a touchdown because like you should be able to go a game without fumbling once in a while. But this franchise, yeah, CJ Ham week 1 and then Aaron Jones on the goal line. So, all right, boys, those are
Write this down.
the write that down
Write it down.
predictions.
You like writing things down.
The only show in America that actually puts statistics next to our predictions. I'm going to pop this up here, just kind of on the fly. The quarterback cesspool challenge for the week. Boy, it was last week. We're going to go through the results from last week. Really interesting because there were so many options, but a couple of us wound up choosing. So here's how this works, by the way. If you're new, it's a weekly celebration of bad quarterback play in the NFL. Each member of the show can only use a quarterback once per season, and we all have to pick different quarterbacks every week. And we're looking for the lowest QBR on a 0 to 100 scale. ESPN.com has the weekly rankings, and that's how we determine the weekly winners, and then we have the season-long QBRs. So all of us were kind of licking our chops at the options in week 2. And as it turns out, Declan with Deshaun Watson, who wasn't terrible. He had a 42.8 QBR, but it was good enough to be the lowest of the three of us. So Dex, congratulations. Last year's reigning defending regular season champion with his first weekly win of the year. I picked Kirk Cousins at Philadelphia. And it was not good in the first half. I was sitting pretty in the first half, and then he had a great second half, the game-winning drive, so he winds up with a 75.5 QBR. And Judd, Malik Willis was kind of a no-brainer, and Matt LaFleur and company tricked up that system. 53 rushing attempts. They only had him pass 14 times. Very easy, high completion percentage. He was 12 of 14 for over 100 yards. An 82.6 QBR for Malik Willis. The worst quarterback in week 2 was Bryce Young, a 6.5 QBR, and now he's benched, so we really can't use him until he comes back. So with that, I lead the regular season standings with a 45.9 average QBR. Declan, 47 average QBR.
Son of a.
Judd still looking for his first weekly win, a 57 average QBR on the season here, boys. So a roller coaster to start the season on the Quarterback Cesspool Challenge. So we go in reverse order of last week's standings. Judd, you're going to get the first pick this week. I get the second pick, and Declan will round it out.
All right. I think this week's a little difficult. I don't see as many. Like, I loved the field last week. I don't know why I love it as much this week. But that being said, I am going to go with a guy who has to now play the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night. That's right. I'm going Kirk Cousins this week.
Wow, you're doing it.
I'm doing
Dude,
Kirk
he
Cousins
looked really good in the second half.
Kirk Cousins this week. He did, but Philadelphia, I feel like we're praising the Falcons way too much. Like, I saw this thing of, can the Falcons ride the momentum of that last drive? That last drive was a gift. Like we're talking about that drive.
We saw that a lot in 2020.
But we're talking about that drive like the Eagles actually played defense. So, good for Kirk. But as far as the team goes, you were gifted a win. Now, you took advantage, which is awesome. But I'm going Kirk Cousins. I think Spags, my guy Spags, brings some heat. Kansas City can get chippy a little bit defensively. Kirk Cousins.
Bold, man. I mean, there's a lot of options on the board, man. And John going with a red-hot Kirk Cousins with the first overall pick.
I'm trying to get one now so I don't use one that if I...
Right? Yeah,
it's so tight. So I'm trying to get a cheapie here.
Yep.
But I do think that I think we're giving the Falcons and Cousins credit for Vic Fangio and the Eagles helping them.
Yeah. The one thing about Kirk, though, that we saw for 6 years, if nothing else, he is a master at sort of navigating to avoid disaster.
Yeah.
I saw somebody on Vikings Twitter put a clip out, Kevin O'Connell talking about the 97-yard touchdown pass and how they ran a similar concept in a game like a year or two ago.
Last year, against the same team.
Okay. Against the Niners.
He had that in his mind from that game against the Niners.
And Kirk hit the underneath route for a chunk.
Correct.
But Darnold chose the nuclear option over the two safeties.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just a fluke. O'Connell brought that up, and then everybody figured out exactly what he was saying. Yeah, it's just nothing. It's probably a fluke.
But that's the type of thing where that's a completion. That goes down as a completion and a chunk. But is it the play that gives you the best chance to create separation against your opponent and dagger them?
And here's what
that's his career.
Well, and I think what O'Connell also was saying is, I wanted the deep route. Underneath is fine. It worked, right? But like the deep route, look at what happened when we threw that, and Darnold and I mean O'Connell looks great because of that. You know what I want though? I think Spags, and this is what Fangio didn't do. You got to heat up Kirk on Sunday night. Chris Jones has to be in his lap. He can't move.
Got to heat his ass up.
Football. Like you got to beat him up. He can't move, and he doesn't want to be hit. Well,
heat his ass up.
Hit him.
Yeah. Okay, man, so many options on the board here. This is just kind of wild. All right. I'm going to take... He looks really flustered. He's a master at short check down panic throws. But I could also go,
Wow.
I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna pivot. I'm going Caleb Williams at the Colts.
Okay.
I'm going Caleb.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
The Colts. I don't know the Colts can stop you. That's the problem.
The Colts season is on the line at 0-2. It's a road game for Caleb.
Their defense might just suck.
But they're gonna be in the lab adjusting all week.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Sports Dad's strategy is I'm holding on because I think they're gonna continue to start this kid and grind him down and so like this is what I thought about, but I've decided I'm going to use him in like a month hopefully.
That's fair. Yeah, it's tough because what if he gets hurt or what if I don't think he's gonna get benched.
How about Stroud? Stop running so much. He met with Caleb to shake hands post game,
Oh.
and it's on Twitter. And he basically says, "Hey, bro, you gotta stop running so much." And Caleb totally like checked out.
Caleb
like,
tried to like pull away. Stroud pulled his arm back
said,
and
"No,
said,
no,
"Dude,
no."
learn from these mistakes."
But I mean, Stroud, that's awesome. Caleb, dude, don't be aloof. This guy's trying to help you.
There's a lot. I feel like Caleb Williams continues to show, and the Bears too. It just feels a little off, the whole thing. Okay, Declan.
All right. I got a lot of options here, too. In fact, I almost went with
Everyone's got a lot of options, okay?
I almost went with an unconventional option. But even though he has struggled, his QBRs have been above 50, so I don't know if I should do that. That would be Trevor. I'm not taking Trevor Lawrence. I'm just talking about Trevor Lawrence. He hasn't looked good in the first 2 weeks.
Verbally binding.
Yep. I was close there because I was like, if I get binded into that, I'll be upset. Instead, I'm going to take Bo Nix because I think some of these rookie quarterbacks are also on borrowed time before they get benched. We can see that I think maybe start to happen a little bit. So Tampa's 2-0. Hell, they picked off Jared Goff 2 times in Detroit last week. They faced a rookie quarterback too in Jaden Daniels. He didn't have a great debut. I'm gonna ride with Bo Nix here against the 2-0 Buccaneers.
That was kind of where I was mentally headed there too. It was either Bo Nix or Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix just looks completely overwhelmed. But yeah, it's tough for these young quarterbacks. You know what? No, what's tough sometimes is getting all the nutrition you need during a workday, busy schedule, running kids around, whatever you're doing. That's where AG1 comes in. AG1 has been a part of my life and repertoire, I guess, for about 7 years now. And here's some interesting factoids. AG1 contains prebiotics, probiotics, gut-supporting ingredients to support your digestion, reduce bloating, and keep you regular. Old Macadac could use a little of that. That's why AG1's beneficial. In a research study, 80% of participants noticed less gas and bloating after 30 days of drinking AG1. Trusted by top athletes all over the world, AG1 is a simple and comprehensive foundational nutritional supplement for whole body health. You just, either with these travel packs, mix with a bottle of water, or a scoop with a glass of water, bottle of water, morning or maybe a middle of the day boost. If there's one product I had to recommend to elevate your health, it's AG1, and that's why I've been a fan of them for so many years. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/purpledaily. That's drinkag1.com/purpledaily to check it out. So, man, the rest of the week is packed on Purple Daily. We've got a bonus episode coming out on this Wednesday, a 4 Downs episode, where we're going to go through some of the things that national platforms are saying about the Vikings, some interesting rankings, some Sam Darnold slander still. We've got Thor's Day tomorrow. We've got Feedback Friday live at 9 o'clock on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And obviously we'll make our picks on Saturday. So this has been I think this is the 5th season that the three of us have been doing Purple Daily every single day, YouTube, like the YouTube podcast version. This is the most fun start to a season, 2-0 and beating the 49ers, that I can remember in those 5 years.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, 2020, so the start of 2022, O'Connell's first year, I did feel like there was more hope. But what I love about this is now you can see the plan, like the real plan, starting to come together. And the fact that they're playing well is more fun. But I told you going into this year, this is as excited as I've been in a long time, because there was like, I thought that their moves starting in March were really good. And then it's like, okay, the payoff. And now if they can play well, the McCarthy thing becomes almost a cherry on top, because it's not like, oh, Darnold sucks, what now? So if they play well, it's almost like the McCarthy thing is like just a little Cool Whip and cherry on top.
Cool Whip. Cool Whip.
Anyway.
What weird?
You can't have pie without Cool Whip.
Takes a lot to get Sports Dad this excited about the Vikings,
yes,
but I genuinely am.
Yeah. So are you going to boo Stefon Diggs? Let us know in the comment section.
I think a lot of you will, and I think it's deserved for the way he treated you at the end.
There it is. You waited all episode to say that let's end this episode.
We have to go.
Daily
The show's
Vikings
over.
entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. Pay Stephon Diggs the respect he deserves.
Show's over. What are you talking about?